our weather headlines today. It is time to dig deep into that forecast now. All right, so comfortably warm today. Warmest tomorrow, 88. Not bad, though. And then the cold front will move through Saturday night. It moves through mainly dry. We'll have 70s next week, lows in the 50s, our coolest weather pattern since May, in a dry, extended outlook. And Christian saying fall starts September 22nd. You are correct. And we've got that timeline here in just a second as well, Christian. So at noon today, 79, 85 for the afternoon high. If some of the clouds linger over areas for longer, you might be a degree or two cooler than that. 0% chance of rain for your Friday, northeast wind at 5 miles per hour. It is, in a weather pattern like this, we've got to do something to mix it up here. So here's your stupid summer dad jokes. What kind of shoes do frogs wear? Open-toed sandals. That's not bad. Why do crabs never volunteer? Because they're shellfish. Not bad. I think we're doing better than our last couple of days. Groaners for sure, but not bad. And this one is appropriate today because my son Brady has a tennis tournament. I had a quiet game of tennis today. There was no racket. Boom-ch. All right, we're moving on. Hey, they're free. They're free. Today, in your weather history, again, you're not going to find a program that digs deeper into the weather for Southern Indiana and beyond than this. Ever. All right, so here you go. High temperatures reach 101 degrees in Indianapolis on today's date. This marks the 12th time in 1936 that the temperature reached 100 degrees, which is a record number of times in the year for the city. But how about this? That same day, August 22nd, 1936, Louisville also hits 101 degrees. So yes, it can get very hot this time of the year, but we are not. We are below normal, so we're loving it. Sellersburg celebrates going on this weekend. Right down the road there, again, exit 9 is where you're going to find the big party there in Sellersburg, and the weather's going to be cooperating very nicely for that and also the rest of the Kentucky State Fair. You might find more about the Kentucky State Fair at kystatefair.org. Your Friday night football forecast, pre-game in the afternoon, low mid-80s. Kickoff, 83 degrees. Halftime, we're starting to move into the 70s. Post-game, some mid-70s. That is not a bad start. I used to do live Friday night football broadcasts, and it would be a scorcher sometimes for those first 2 or 3 weeks. How many days until are before 8 p.m. sunsets just in 12 days? Autumn begins in 1 month, September 22nd. Average highs in the 70s in about a month as well. That's around September 24th, but we get a taste, a preview of that next week. And then our average highs usually dip into the 60s within about 58 days. That is right around October the 19th. Moving right along here, we've got a high allergy report. We are in the ragweed season, so if you're starting to get stuffed up, that is likely the cause of that. Here's the forecast today for your August 22nd, 85 degrees, comfortably warm, partly cloudy, northeast wind at 5, and our sunset at 8:26. And the low tonight, 68 degrees, mostly clear, mild, dry, just a light breeze. And so tomorrow is our warmest day of the extended outlook with 88. Humidity not terrible. Again, not kind of typical warmth out there before that cold front moves through Saturday night. That front should move through mainly dry. And then the 7-day forecast, wow, it is phenomenal. The best one we've had this summer, in my opinion, at least the most comfortable. 83 degrees Sunday, down to 58 Sunday night. Look at that stretch of lows in the 50s. The AC gets a break, especially at nighttime. Might be able to crack open those windows, let in some of that fresh air if that ragweed isn't bothering you. We've got upper 70s. Now, those are maximum temperatures, so remember, a good chunk of the day won't even be that warm. So low mid-70s for a decent amount of the afternoon and evenings. 78 Monday, 77 Tuesday, 78 Wednesday, 80 Thursday, 82 Friday. I was looking at the long-range data, and I didn't see much humidity really returning or any kind of big summer heat all the way through like the first week of September. So we might be holding on to this. And the big reason is, which we'll see with the weather models as we dig into the weather model data, which we typically do right around 10:20. So we're coming up to it. The jet stream diving in from the northwest, opening the door to that cooler air. So the jet stream is this ribbon of air, this flow of air, say about 30,000 feet. It is kind of the storm highway, but it also separates cool air north, warm air south. So when we get that jet stream to dive south from Canada, it opens up the door, unlocks that cool Canadian air. That is what we have in store for next week. So we're going to take a look at that here in just one moment. Lillian Lasley, good morning. It's 66 when Lillian got up this morning there in Litchfield. That is not too shabby. We've got 69. We've got our live weather reports here coming in from there in Carmel, cloudy. We're all looking pretty much the same across the area as we bring up, again, that live look out there. I think all of us pretty much have this little trapped moisture at about 4,000 feet, giving us some of this cloud cover and allowing it to be a slow warm-up throughout the area. Feeling good on this Friday morning. All right, so there we go. It is now time to bring up the weather models. With that, one more cheers here. So there you can see the layer of clouds that we have over the area as we zoom in here to southern Indiana. Looks like we've got breaks in the cloud. Northwest, that's where the front is. Let me get out a full screen here and let's take a look at the temperatures. We are rocking and rolling with this Starlink internet. We're going to push it to the limits. All right, so let's bring up currents. Let's see if it'll pop up those temperatures. There we go. Look at this. Look at all these temperature stations across the United States. These are called METARs, the ASOS. They're typically at airports. You can hear Skeeter. Probably the mailman. So look at those 50s up to the northwest. That is the air that we'll have moving our direction. These dogs. Skeeter. Yeah. I think that's the mailman. Oh, the dogs. All right, so there you go. So there you see 50s northwest. That's the air that's going to come in here Sunday. So it's just sitting up there on deck, waiting to come our direction. This is a look at the current conditions around the area right now. Let me get out of the full screen mode here. Skeeter better not run out in the road. We've got all the dogs barking. All right. Mailman made it safely through. Thank you for the patience of our mail carrier, by the way. All right. Climate Prediction Center. Look at that. Boom. What this map shows us is the. All right, Skeeter, we got it, buddy. Thank you very much. Hey, Skeeter. Sorry about that. All right. So we've got above normal chances of below average. So this shows high confidence in the below normal weather pattern.